call them ringers. Doesn't sound as nice as specialist. But you got B.J. Jones, Patrick Carpentier, Tony Ave, Ron Fellows, Andy Lally, who is right there in the first car, getting ready to head out on course. And, of course, Boris Said. Total of 13 double-duty drivers. Boris Said's actually running in all three. Later today, he's going to be running in the sports car race. Andy Lally's doing the Cup Series and the Grand Am race later today here at the Glen. And let's take a look at the warm-up lap as we'll get a chance now with Andy Lally, as he is a three-time Grand Am Rolex Series champion in the GT class. He has 23 wins. I remember last year at Montreal, he and Brendan Gaughan teamed up and finished second in their class in that race.
Now, this is the bus stop right here that you hear us called. Note that even though you're turning 2, 3, 4, even maybe 6 or 7 times, depending on how your car's handling through there, we don't list it as one of the corners. This is coming out of 5 here.
Well, if you look back at that bus stop, would you consider that probably the toughest part of the course to hit right on this one qualifying lap?
I think absolutely. You want to carry a lot of speed in there, but we saw the majority of the problems that people had yesterday with their cars getting loose through that area and on the exit trying to go around through turn 5.
You see where Andy started last year in 15th. He ended up finishing 27th. He was on the lead lap, even though he was that far back. Comes across the stripe, gets the green flag, and the clock is now running on Andy Lally.
Yeah, in years past, it's been you've kind of had to strike a balance to decide how hard you wanted to run in that warm-up lap to use your tires some, get some heat in them. I think with the cooler temperature and with this tire, what we've seen is these guys are going to go pretty hard right out of the pits to get some heat in the tire with the cooler temperatures here.
There you see his stats from where he finished back in New Hampshire. 5 of the last 6 races here at the Glen were won from a top 10 starting position. Only Tony Stewart's 13th starting position broke that string, so that's why qualifying seems to be pretty doggone important.
Well, he looked pretty solid through there. We'll have to see time-wise just how that stacks up, but car's not doing anything crazy for Andy right at this point.
So he's able to use that little extra room they've paved over there to carry some momentum off that corner.
Yeah, where he went there used to be grass right there, and obviously you didn't want to get in that.
Same thing here. They can charge this corner just a little harder than they used to because they do have that asphalt that they can, catch themselves and not get in trouble.
Well, Andy's going to set the benchmark for everybody. Comes awfully close to the safer barrier at turn 7, the final turn down the front straightaway, and he crosses the stripe in a minute 12.68 seconds.
About 1/10 of a second faster than what he ran yesterday.
And you notice that just like in nationwide qualifying, when they finish, they make the hard right turn after turn number 1 and head on back to the...
Sometimes though they can just overdo it a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes you go out a little too hard and it's easy to make a mistake. And I think just what Clint Boyer was saying there, I think it's a difficult qualifying effort coming here kind of just cold turkey this morning, not being in the car. Some of these guys have been in a nationwide car, and I think that will be an advantage, but they do drive differently.
Well, and you heard earlier Robby Gordon saying as he pulls out on the course that he did not do a mock qualifying run. He was 29th in the final practice. And here's his career at Watkins Glen with that one win we showed you back in 2003, and his average finish, 11.3.
And we kind of saw Robby easing up through here. He's not up to full speed. He's with the idea in his head that he wants to save the very new part of his tires till he gets actually over here probably around turn 6 and go a little bit harder.
While he's warming up, let's check in with a man who had the hardest hit we've seen in a long time, Elliot Sadler. Mike.
Fair with anybody. And catching up now with Elliot Sadler, and of course the last time he was in a race was at Pocono a week ago, and we all saw what happened there. Awfully heavy hit. Good to see you here back at the race car, back behind the wheel. What's it been like for you trying to get back behind the wheel after what happened in Pocono?
Well, as far as my body and stuff, been through some therapy and stuff this week and just icing everything down. I was a little sore. And by like Wednesday, my body started feeling really good. I think it helps playing so many sports and stuff growing up, but I was really looking forward to getting here to Watkins Glen. I really like this racetrack, getting to go back and forth. And the Hunt Brothers Pizza car, we did all race trim yesterday, so this will be my first crack at qualifying.
How good is your car?
It's decent. It was a little free. These tires are a lot different than what we've had in the past, but I think we'll keep digging with it. And we made some changes this morning. We'll see how it goes to qualifying today, and then we'll look at it again and go off. Maybe we can lean on our teammates if we have to, but just ready to get back in the car. Just can't thank my guys back at home enough and for building me a safe car. NASCAR doing a good job with this new car tomorrow and all the safety features that it has. So if we can withstand a hit like that, that's pretty much means these things are pretty indestructible.
All right, guys, let's get back to the on-track activity. Robby Gordon.
Yeah, Robby was really good through the bus stop, but he's losing a little bit. It's heading a little south.
Well, that's compared to Jeff Gordon's lap, and Jeff got off of that corner really well down that straightaway, so he's losing just a little bit to Jeff's time, but still he's right there at that pole speed.
So close. Right now, about a tenth of a second underneath. Can he hold on to it? It's going to be close. At the stripe, he comes across, and Robby Gordon is now ahead of Jeff Gordon by just 1/10 of a second. So the man who finished second in Infineon in June, that was his best finish since finishing second here in 05.
I feel like it makes all 6 of our cars better. So, it's nice to have a day where we're contributing like that. And, there's going to be a day down the road, and there's been days in the past where we've had to kind of rely on those guys too. So, that's what the teamwork's all about.
Good relationship, good lap today for Tony. Mike?
And Dave, Max Papis is looking for a good lap himself. He's certainly feeling the pressure of trying to get this car in on speed. Yesterday, early in practice, in fact, on the warm-up lap, you lost the transmission. Did you get enough time on the track to assess how strong this car might be?
First of all, let me say hi to my kids at home. My wife, Tatish, is here, so I love you, kid. Marco, Matteo, love you. The Geico car, the guys did a great job. They're ready to be in a 24-hour of Le Mans. They changed the transmission so quickly that it was amazing. And we went out there. We had a couple of qualifying runs. Not really enough to really see exactly everything you have, but enough for us to know that we need to do our best, and we see how we're going to stand. So I feel that we've done everything within our cards, with the cards that we have within our power. So quite excited about it.
All right, Marty's going to try to make up for it with his own ability. He's a pretty skilled road course racer.
He got that name Mad Max back years ago when he was running qualifying laps in the last 2 hours of the Rolex 24. Right now, and he'll be the last to go out. Right now, David Gilliland, you saw him bouncing around a little bit. He is our second go-or-go-homer out on track.
Well, he was doing it in a dangerous part of the track, too, in those S's. If you get out of shape over there, you can hit something hard and quick.
Yeah, there's not much room for error up through there. You have guardrail on both sides. Not much room to correct. You see, he's really struggling with this car.
Down through turn 11. 3 cars are going to be going home. 46 showed up for the 43 car field, and as he crosses the stripe, he is the second fastest of the go-or-go-homers.
Greatest class going in that, and Sullivan was reading some about that, and certainly the numbers don't lie with the people that are going in there, but again, something fun to watch.
Jerry Rice has got the numbers certainly of all time for a receiver, but in this passing-oriented offense, maybe Emmett Smith's numbers of 18,000 plus holds up for our lifetime at least, and maybe for a long, long time to come. Tony Ave, as you saw his numbers there, as he's out on course from Hurley, Wisconsin. He's a current point leader in the SCCA Pro Racing Trans Am Series. A lot of road racing experience, a little puff of smoke out the back.
Yeah, you did see that smoke. It might have just maybe a little too much oil in it, making this run and maybe spewing just a little bit out. Doesn't look like it's anything serious.
He ran in the top 10 for most of that Road America Nationwide race. If you remember, though, he had a spin on the last lap. Boy, he has got a lot of rub there.
Yeah, that's a lot of smoke there, though.
And it's continuing on down through the front straightaway, so
pretty heavily.
I don't think that's tire rub. That could be something else.
Could have actually maybe even over one of those curbs put a hole in the oil pan.
Something like that. Transmission's another area.
Yeah, and transmission gets stressed quite a bit here. It could have cracked the case. Kind of coming from the middle of the car.
Well, now the big question is if any of that gets on the tires, he could find himself in a bit of a mess.
Well, that and the people coming behind him, that's who's probably more concerned about it.
He heads down through the bus stop.
I'm sure that NASCAR will take a look at this maybe after he makes his effort, just to make sure that he is not putting anything down, that this was just creating.
That's a lot
right there, though.
He has started twice before here at the Glen. Right now, he is taking care of every mosquito through this entire 2.45 mile layout. They're not going to be around for miles. He's survived all the corners so far, one to go. Tony brings it down the front straightaway. Remember, the best time was Joe Nemechek at minute 13.1, and Tony, the third of the three, at a minute 14 and change. Back here at Watkins Glen International, as the safety crews have made their final inspection after we saw all the smoke, and everything seems to be okay. So next car will be fired. Tony Ave's oil, whatever that was, did not get all over the track, and that'll mean Dave Blaney will come out. Now, of the 11 go-or-go-homers, Blaney was third from the bottom, which, when you do the math, that's not a really good place to be.
But that was practice.
That was practice. We're about to find out what Mr. Blaney can do.
Yeah, hopefully in his driver compartment he had a little reserve left, and go grab him a couple of tenths here.
Well, he's raced here at the Glen 10 times prior. His best start was 16th back in 2003. His best finish was 18th in 2002. You know, during the break, DJ, we were talking about the fact that we thought maybe we'd see a track record. Carl Edwards came awfully close, missed it by 0.08 of a second.
Yeah, we were pretty certain that somebody was going to probably get down below that track record, but I think the track temperature and I could attribute some of it to these guys not having a chance to be on the racetrack this morning.
Tony Stewart said in his interview, he said, man, it took me a couple of corners to get my rhythm going.
So I think that may have had it. At least Carl came close. It didn't make us look like we totally didn't know what we were talking about, which I'm sure there's people out there that think that anyway.
Well, Dave Blaney's on it. You know, he made his 350th Cup start back at Pocono. And that dates back all the way to 1992 when he began back at Rockingham. All right, now this is in comparison to Joe Nemechek's time now, because Nemechek is the best of the three go-or-go-homers so far.
You see, he lost a little bit of time to Nemechek there up through the S's.
We compare these two because one of these two is going to get locked in after this lap's completed.
3 times in the books right now. It's Nemechek, Gilliland, and then Tony Ave.
You hear him in and out of the throttle a lot as he tried to go around turn 5 and the exit. Wow. I guess they used up a lot of asphalt, but a little bit of dirt and grass there too.
Down through turn number 6, now heading for the final corner. And the big question will be, where does he slot in to relationship with Nemechek, Gilliland, and Tony Ave? Checkered flag is out, and Dave comes across the line, and, well, he is ahead of Tony Ave. So he is now third quickest of the 4 go-or-go-homers just yesterday. So very vulnerable with still a number of cars to go. 39 of the 46 have officially taken times. And out on track now will be J.J. Yeley. He started twice here before, back in 06 and 07. His best finish here at the Glen was 18th back in 2007. Back at Pocono, he finished 38th in the, it was his 9th race in this number 46 car. Through the bus stop.
If he can match his practice time, he'll be the fastest of these cars after making on speed. And a 72.5 second lap yesterday in practice. Right now, Joe Nemechek is the fastest of all the cars, and he's ran a 73.17.
And he is locked in.
David Gilliland is the car that JJ will have to beat right here if he wants to lock himself in.
Yeah, so the time he's looking to beat is a minute 13.37 seconds, and now we'll get an idea. And you'll see there that his lap tracker will be up against David Gilliland's time. Looking real good so far.
Yeah, he's really doing a nice job to this point. Yeah, gaining more time up through the S's as he starts to exit onto the back straightaway. Has a nice cushion built up.
In fact, it's increasing and, well, now going a little bit south as he heads into the bus stop.
I think he made the approach there. Yeah, he lost a lot of time. Thinking he just maybe got out early to get back to the throttle some, but he had about a half a second cushion going in.
Well, he dropped below, then came back up above, and as he heads to 6, he's now back in the red. If he wants to lock himself in, he's got to have a good turn 6 and now even a better turn 7.
Yeah, got really loose off a 6 there. That cost him some time.
Hits that inside curb, comes all the way out close to the safer barrier. Well, he's not going to lock himself in right now. He crosses the line, and he's ahead of Blaney and Ave, but Gilliland's now locked in with Joe Nemechek. Stay with us. More to come. Times 5 more to go. As we mentioned, 3 to go home. So Bobby safely ensconced in the field, and that'll bring us up to the 36 of Ron Fellows.
He was fast yesterday.
He was the second quickest yesterday of the go or go homers. And while he's on his warm-up lap, let's talk a little bit about baseball because we've got action on ESPN both Sunday and Monday night. And first up will be the Red Sox with Josh Beckett back. He'll be on the mound against the rival New York Yankees, led by A-Rod on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball at 8 Eastern. Then on ESPN's Monday Night Baseball, 7 Eastern, we've got the St. Louis Cardinals and the Cincinnati Reds. Both games available on ESPN3.com.
The Red Sox will be ready for those Yankees.
Yeah, take my son Zach over there. As long as these boys all behave tomorrow afternoon, we'll be there Sunday night. Watch the Yankees and Red Sox and hopefully another Yankees win.
Oh, golly. Alan Bessick will be running up here to the booth to get equal time. Yeah,
I know who won last
yeah, the Red Sox, that's right.
I know.
Hey, let's talk a little bit more about Ron Fellows. He has 21 Sprint Cup starts, all but 1 on the road courses. He has a total of 7 car, truck win combinations here at the Glen, 3 in the Nationwide Series, 2 in the truck, and 2 in the NASCAR East Series. Whoa, a little smoke there.
So what you're saying, he can pretty much drive anything here?
I've seen him literally drive everything here. Sports cars, you name it. In fact, the only thing I haven't seen him in is an Indy car because he's so darn tall, I don't think he could fit.
Got a good lap going here.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, yeah. We're switching over to the pole because he's flying good enough to get himself safely in the show.
Look back on that tracker, you can see how he beat Carl Edwards through turn 1.
Yeah, he's positioned himself to get inside the top 20 here.
He's going to start 12th a little bit later this afternoon in the NASCAR Nationwide Series race. Here he comes through turn 6. He's looking at a position right now, 23rd on the grid. Now up to 21st. Back to 23rd, through the final corner. Right up against the rumble strips, down the front straightaway, and Ron Fellows is safely in this field. In fact, the best of the go-or-go homers in the 20th position, a minute 12.09 seconds. So as he heads on back to the garage area, it still means Yeley, Blaney, and Ave are sitting in a precarious situation. How about Ron Fellows? His 3 nationwide wins
tonight after you win that, right?
Well, bouncing back and forth, it's just the pressure these guys are under week in, week out to get them in the show. And then, I mean, you just never know what's going to happen. But I'll tell you what, Tommy and the guys have done a really good job. We've been bouncing around anywhere from 10th to 20th in practice, so I'm proud of the effort they put in for a small operation. And thanks Richie Gilmore.
Yeah, he had a lot to do with that. Good for Ron to jump in the 36 and a good lap for him, getting that in the show, guys.
Yes, it was. And right now, Patrick Carpentier is going to be trying to give himself a good run. He's going to turn 39, speaking of birthdays, on August 17th. And as you can see, we switched over to his run compared to pole sitter Carl Edwards because he is hustling.
Yeah, he's a great road racer. Has a great feel for the car. Just does a tremendous job. And he's been in a number of different cars here and just knows how to get it done. You can see right now
He's just a great driver, period.
Yeah.
You know, he's had a stint in this series, but I'm sure he'd like to get back because he showed a lot of promise.
He really did. Even on and we're not just talking the road courses. You're talking ovals too,
everywhere.
I think. Yeah.
Great view from high above as you can see him coming through that final corner.
Yeah, looking at a top 20 run here.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Patrick doing a nice job. Look at this, all the way up. It looks like it's going to be about 16th, 17th. 1 minute
Great
11.
job, bud. Great job. Make sure you got to turn your fans on. You got to turn in right there on the right.
It's Frankie Stoddard, the crew chief, talking to him.
Road racers too. So we know anything can happen as you go out to make a qualifying effort here, but Michael McDowell and Max Papis.
Yeah, in fact,
very accomplished.
In fact, in the go or go home category, McDowell was 4th quickest in final practice, and Max Papis, still to come, was the best.
Mad Max. I'm sure he's going to lay down a good lap.
Michael doing double duty, one of the 13. Boy, came over that awfully rough. He's going to start 15th. Yeah, I know. Starts 15th in the nationwide race, which is coming up next right here on ESPN.
Turn 5 is going to be such an interesting corner as we get to the nationwide race this afternoon and then the cup race tomorrow. I'm just anxious to see these guys try to come off of there too wide and what's going to transpire at the exit.
It's going to be fun from here.
Well, I think the bus stop's going to be fun too, because I think you're going to see a lot of people trying to stuff their nose underneath somebody, and we'll see the fireworks as we're watching right now. Michael McDowell compared to J.J. Yeley, and it looks like he is on his way to safely putting his car in the field. Let's switch it over to pole sitter Carl Edwards.
That's a good lap now. He's tracking 13th up through the back straightaway, 11th. See how he gets through this bus stop.
Here we go. Yeah, probably a little conservative getting there, which is a smart thing in his position.
Amazing how much time, though, he can lose right there.
Through turn 5, heading now up to the final 2 corners here at Watkins Glen on this 2.45 mile layout. And it looks like McDowell is going to put himself safely in the field. He's got one more corner to negotiate, and this will be bad news for David Gilliland. Great view of him coming out of the final corner, down the front straightaway. And as he takes the checkered flag, Michael McDowell is safely in the field, 3rd quickest of the go or go homers, and that means David Gilliland is still in. And
this weekend in the show, Marty.
He certainly is. He's always fun to watch too, as we have one more car out on track still to qualify, and Mad Max Papis. You see his best start, 16th back in the race last year. He finished 8th in that event. He did not qualify at Pocono last week. He was so disappointed after making the field for the Brickyard 400 the week before that.
Yeah, there's nobody that works at this any harder than what Max Papis goes about this. He studies, he watches others, he talks to a lot of different people, and he just wants to do this so badly, and that shows. You can see the improvement on all types of racetracks. Obviously, this is where he's a little more comfortable in this type of scenario, but he's just very passionate about wanting to do this and making it work, and he loves it when he gets in the races and has a chance to race all day.
J.J. Yeley is the man who is sitting on the bubble right now. It's either Yeley in and Max out, or the other way around.
Turn 2, Max lost a lot of time.
Still in the green, though, as he heads down for the bus stop.
Oh, yeah, you can see he really got in there really good.
Boy, look how smooth.
Yeah.
Man, that was smooth.
That's where Yeley really lost a lot of his time on his qualifying effort, so you could see that Max really distanced himself right there.
Well, this is bad news for J.J. Yeley fans, but great news for Max Papis' fans, because he's got 2 more corners. You can see he is well safely into the green. Looking like he might be up around the 28th best time. Down through the final corner. And this will put a button on qualifying for tomorrow's race here in Sprint Cup action at Watkins Glen. And Papis, a minute 12.46 seconds.
So we're in easy. Good job.
The three that go home are Yeley, Blaney, and Ave, and we'll wrap things up and set the stage for the Nationwide.